Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Speak Up, your favorite place to learn English naturally, easily, and confidently. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're one of our loyal listeners, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel and share this podcast with friends who are also trying to improve their English. It really helps us grow and keeps us motivated to bring you more amazing content every single day. Now, today we're diving into something that can completely change the way you speak English. Yes, we're talking about your vocabulary. Because let's be honest, if you're always using the same 20 or 30 words in every sentence, you probably feel stuck, right?
Exactly. And you're not alone. So many English learners feel like their vocabulary is weak, even if they watch videos, listen to podcasts, or read in English. But today's episode is going to fix that. We're going to show you practical, easy-to-follow ways to grow your vocabulary, even if you're learning from home and don't have anyone to practice with. You'll learn step-by-step methods that you can actually use. No complex grammar, no boring lectures. And here's a little secret. At the end of this episode, we're going to share a 10-minute daily habit that can double your vocabulary in just 1 month. Sounds exciting, right? Stick around and let's upgrade your English together, starting right now.
Let's first understand the real reason you're not improving your vocabulary. You might be watching English videos, reading books, or listening to podcasts like this one. But still, your vocabulary isn't growing the way you want. That's because just hearing or seeing new words isn't enough. Your brain might recognize the word in context, but when it's your turn to speak, the word disappears. It's like you've seen it 100 times, but you've never used it. That's the big difference. Passive learning feels productive, but it doesn't give you the results you're hoping for.
Exactly. This is something we hear from learners all the time. They say, I understand English better than before, but I can't speak fluently. And that's because there's no system. People are just collecting words, hoping they'll stay in their head. But here's the truth. Without repetition, without personal use, those words disappear. It's like pouring water into a bottle with a hole in it. You feel like you're doing something useful, but it's not staying with you. That's why you keep using the same 20 or 30 words in every sentence, even when you know more.
And here's something we really want you to remember. You don't need to learn hundreds of new words every week. What you need are a few useful, everyday words that you can actually say in a conversation. When you try to memorize too many words at once, you overwhelm your brain. But if you focus on truly learning and using just 5 to 10 words at a time, your progress becomes real. You'll be able to use them confidently without freezing or second-guessing yourself. So it's not about how many words you've seen. It's about how many you can use naturally.
That's such an important point. Think about this. How often do you review new words after hearing them once? For most learners, the answer is never. That's where the problem begins. If you don't practice those words again and again by speaking them, writing them, using them, they just fade away. And then frustration builds. You start thinking you're not good at English, but the truth is, the method is broken, not you. If you're not improving, it's not because you're lazy or slow, it's because you've never been taught how to make words stick.
Let's look at it this way. Learning vocabulary is like training a muscle. You don't grow stronger by watching someone else exercise. You grow by doing the work yourself. The same is true for words. You can't just admire them, you have to lift them with your own sentences. Say them out loud, write them down, create your own examples. That's how they move from your brain to your mouth. And once that happens, your confidence grows, your fluency improves, and English becomes less of a struggle and more of a habit.
And let's be honest, if you're not actively using new words, you're not really learning them. You might feel good after watching a video or reading a page, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. That's not your fault. It's a sign that you're stuck in a passive learning loop. So today, we want to help you break that loop. It starts by understanding that vocabulary isn't just something you know, it's something you do. You don't need hundreds of fancy words. You need a small set of useful words that come out of your mouth when you need them.
Now, we've seen why passive vocabulary learning doesn't work. So let's talk about something powerful you can start doing right away: building targeted word banks. Most learners try to pick up random words from movies, songs, or social media. But that's not a system. It's a guessing game. Instead, learn in themes. For example, choose a topic like family and collect 15 to 20 useful words related to that. Words you'll actually use in conversations, like cousin, sibling, married, or relative. Grouping words like this makes them easier to remember and easier to use.
Exactly. And here's the best part. When your words are organized by topic, your brain connects them better. Let's say your theme is shopping. You'll add words like discount, cashier, receipt, and refund. When you talk about shopping in real life, those words will come to you naturally because you've already trained your mind to think in that group. This is how native speakers build fluency, by learning words that belong together. So instead of collecting random vocabulary, start focusing on themed word banks. It's simpler, smarter, and way more effective.
Also, think about your life. What do you talk about every day? Work, travel, food, emotions? Start with the themes that match your daily life. Don't waste your time learning rare or complicated words. Focus on what you need. For example, if you're working in an office, learn words like deadline, meeting, file, or colleague. These are the words you'll actually speak. So your first goal should be to create 5 to 7 word banks, each with 15 to 20 useful words organized by topic. That's how you turn vocabulary into a real-life skill, not just something on paper.
Yes, and here's a tip. Use a small notebook, your phone, or even a spreadsheet to keep these word banks. Don't just make them once and forget them. Review them regularly. Speak them out loud. Use them in sample sentences. It's okay to update them too. Add new words, remove the ones you don't need. This isn't school homework, it's your personal English toolkit. The more time you spend organizing your words by theme, the more confident you'll feel when you speak. It's like creating your own private dictionary, only with words that actually matter to you.
And if you're not sure which words to choose, there are tools online that show you the most common words used in real conversations. These are called frequency lists. You can pick a theme, like travel or feelings, and check the most used words in that category. Start with those. Why? Because they're the words people use the most. And if you use them too, your English will sound natural, clear, and confident. No need to sound fancy. Just be practical. The goal is to speak better English, not memorize difficult words you'll never use.
And one final reminder, stop learning vocabulary by chance. Be the driver, not the passenger. Choose your themes, choose your words, speak them, practice them. You'll notice a big shift. Instead of saying, that thing, you'll start using the right words naturally. That's when you feel fluent. So take control. Build word banks with purpose. You don't need more information, you need more organization. And this one habit, theme-based vocabulary practice, can completely change your confidence when speaking English.
So now that you've created your word banks, it's time to upgrade how you actually learn each word. And here's one golden rule. Never learn a word alone. Don't just memorize a word like require and move on. That's useless. Instead, go deeper. Understand the meaning, yes, but also ask, what part of speech is it? Is it a verb, noun, or adjective? Then say it in a full sentence, like, this job requires attention to detail. Now that's a word you'll remember, and more importantly, use.
Exactly. Think of each word as part of a full story. When you only learn the word, your brain forgets it quickly. But when you learn a word with a sentence, with tone, with context, it stays in your mind longer. And here's something many learners miss. Practice those sentences out loud. Don't just read them in your head, say them. Feel how the word flows. Use your own voice. That's how your mouth and brain start working together. If you don't speak it, you don't own it.
Let me add something really powerful. Learn collocations. These are words that naturally go together. For example, we don't say do a mistake, we say make a mistake. Not strong rain, but heavy rain. These combinations are what make your English sound real, not robotic. So when you learn a new word, look for 2 to 3 common phrases or pairings. If you learn interest, also learn show interest, lose interest, or a strong interest in something. That's how native speakers use vocabulary, and you can too.
Yes, and you don't need a textbook to find these combinations. Just type the word in Google with the word collocations, or look it up in a learner's dictionary, or listen to how it's used in podcasts or videos. The more you hear the word in different places, the more natural it becomes for you. And again, repeat it out loud. Don't wait for perfection. Speak messy, speak early. The more you use the word in different sentences, the faster it becomes a part of your own speaking toolbox.
And here's something that really helps. Make your own example sentences. Don't only repeat textbook ones, use your life. If the word is borrow, say, I borrowed a book from my cousin. That makes it personal. You're not just learning English, you're connecting English to your world. And that's what makes it stick. Because the more personal a sentence is, the easier it is to remember it. And once a word becomes part of your life, it's no longer just vocabulary, it's your voice.
So remember, learning in context means three things: meaning, sentence, and sound. If anyone is missing, the word will fade. If all three are present, the word becomes alive. It becomes usable. And usable words are what give you confidence. Not big words, not long lists, just real, living vocabulary that you can speak clearly, use quickly, and remember easily. So next time you learn a new word, ask yourself, am I learning this in full context? If not, start now. That's the shift fluent speakers make.
So now that you've learned your vocabulary in context, the next step is simple, but so many people skip it. If you don't review your words, they will fade. That's just how the brain works. You might feel like you remember a word today, but in 3 days, gone. That's where something called spaced repetition comes in. It means you review your words after increasing time gaps. For example, review a word on day 1, then day 3, then day 7. Every time you review it, it becomes stronger in your memory.
Right, and don't worry, you don't need a complicated app or tool. Just use a notebook or simple flashcards. You can write the word on one side and the meaning and a sentence on the other. But here's the key: test yourself. Don't just reread the list. Cover the answer and ask yourself, what does this word mean? Can I use it in a sentence? This is called active recall, and it's way more powerful than just looking at your notes. It makes your brain work harder, and that's what helps you remember.
Exactly. When you test yourself, even if you make mistakes, it helps. You're training your brain to pull out the information, and every time you succeed, the memory becomes stronger. Passive review, just reading the same list again and again, might feel easy, but it doesn't build long-term memory. Active recall feels harder at first, but that's why it works. You're exercising your memory muscles. So if you've written down 10 new words, don't just read them. Quiz yourself on them.
Let's say you've got your vocabulary notebook or app. Set a mini schedule. Maybe review new words on the same day you learn them. Then again after 3 days, and again after a week. The exact days don't matter too much, but the idea is your brain remembers better when you see the word again just before you forget it. That's the science behind spaced repetition. And if you use this system for just 10 minutes a day, you'll be shocked how many words you actually remember next month.
Another great trick: mix up your word review sessions. Don't always review in the same order. Shuffle your flashcards, say the sentences out loud, try explaining the word to yourself like you're teaching it. These small actions force your brain to work from different angles, and that's what helps memory. And when you get a word right multiple times, space it out even more. Soon, you'll know that word like the back of your hand. No more forgetting, no more relearning. Just solid vocabulary that sticks.
And one more thing, make it part of your daily habit. Right after breakfast or before bed, take 5 to 10 minutes to review your vocabulary. It doesn't take hours, it just takes consistency. Active recall plus spaced repetition is the smartest, fastest way to lock words into your long-term memory. If you've ever felt like, I keep forgetting what I learn, this is your solution. You don't need to study harder, just smarter. Start using these 2 tools and your vocabulary will never go backward.
All right, we've talked about remembering vocabulary, but what about using it? Here's the truth. If you're not saying the words out loud, they stay passive. You may know the word, but when it's time to speak, you freeze. That's why this step is powerful. Start speaking every new word out loud in a full sentence. Right after you learn it, say, "Okay, this is the word, and here's how I'd use it." Speak it clearly. Don't whisper it. Pretend you're actually talking to someone.
Yes, and don't worry if you're alone. That's actually perfect. You can stand in front of a mirror and say your sentences. Or even better, record yourself. Take your phone, say the sentence, then play it back. Listen to your tone, your pronunciation, your speed. This isn't about being perfect, it's about getting comfortable. Every time you say a new word out loud, you're training your mouth, your brain, and your confidence. That's how it moves from memory to real-life speaking.
And here's a great trick I personally love. Explain the word as if you're teaching it to someone else. Let's say you learned the word confused. Try saying, "Confused means I don't understand something. For example, I was confused in math class yesterday." Now try again without reading anything. You're creating a real situation. That's how you build confidence. Even if no one is listening, you're building your ability to speak naturally. And honestly, that's what matters.
Another great method is thinking in English using new words. For example, if you just learned the word hungry and it's lunchtime, say in your mind, "I'm hungry. I want to eat rice." That's mirror talk, but inside your brain. And if you're at home, say it out loud. You don't need a fancy speaking partner. You are your own best teacher if you use your voice. Try to describe what you're doing using new words like, "I'm writing with a pen," or "I'm drinking tea." Simple sentences, but powerful results.
And don't be afraid of mistakes. No one's grading you. You're not on stage. The goal is fluency, not perfection. When you speak out loud every day, even for 5 minutes, your brain gets used to forming English sentences quickly. You'll feel more confident, and when you speak with others, you won't freeze. You'll sound more natural, more fluent. So whatever words you learn today, use your voice. That's the step that most learners skip, but it's the one that creates real progress.
Exactly. Make this your daily habit. Learn the word, say it out loud, use it in 2 or 3 sentences, and repeat them naturally. Record yourself once or twice a week and check your improvement. You'll notice your pronunciation, rhythm, and comfort with English all getting better. It's not about how many words you know, it's about how many you can actually speak. And speaking daily, even when you're alone, is the bridge between learning and fluency. Use your voice, and your English will grow faster than you expect.
So far, we've covered how to learn and speak new words daily, but here's a smart tip to make sure you remember words exactly when you need them. It's called creating real-life word triggers. What does that mean? Well, instead of just learning words in isolation, link them to your daily routine. For example, if you're cooking, learn the word boil. When the water starts boiling, say the word out loud. This connection helps your brain recall the word naturally because it's tied to something real.
Yes, and it's not just cooking. You can link words to many moments in your day. When you open the fridge, say fridge. When you switch on the fan, say fan. Even simple actions like sit, stand, or walk become triggers when you say the words aloud at the right time. This way, you're not just memorizing. You're creating habits where your vocabulary lives in your everyday life. It's like training your brain to instantly recall words when you see or do something.
Another helpful idea is to use physical spaces in your home as vocabulary reminders. Sticky notes are great for this. You can put a sticky note with the word door on your door or mirror on the mirror. Every time you see those words, say them out loud and use them in a sentence. These visual cues work like little reminders, making vocabulary visible and connected to the things you interact with daily. This builds a strong mental map for your new words.
Exactly, Ryan. And the best part is, you can customize these triggers based on what you need to learn most. If you want to learn words about emotions, place notes where you relax or think, like on your couch or bed, with words like happy, tired, or excited. The more you link vocabulary to moments and places in your life, the easier it becomes to recall words quickly, especially when you're in conversations or writing. It's about building an English environment around you, even if you're at home.
So, start small. Choose 5 or 6 words each week. Link them to your daily activities or places in your home and say them out loud every time you see or use the trigger. Make it fun. Don't stress about perfection. These small, consistent steps create a natural vocabulary flow. Your brain will thank you for the constant reminders, and over time, you'll find your word bank growing without extra effort. That's the power of real-life word triggers.
And don't forget, this method works because it's active and visual. Your brain remembers images and actions better than just lists of words. By combining words with things you do and see, you're giving your memory multiple ways to hold on to vocabulary. Try it starting today. Put a sticky note on something in your room and say the word every time you see it. Watch how easy it becomes to recall words naturally, right when you need them.
Finally, let's talk about the 10-minute daily routine that can really change your English vocabulary. It's simple and fits easily into any busy day. The routine splits into 2 parts: 5 minutes of input and 5 minutes of output. During the input time, you learn about 5 new words in context, meaning part of speech and example sentences. You don't just memorize, you understand how the word works in real sentences.
And after that comes the output. This is the most important part. Spend 5 minutes saying those 5 words out loud, using them in your own sentences. Speak clearly, repeat if you need to, and don't worry about mistakes. This active use of vocabulary helps your brain lock the words into long-term memory. The key is daily practice. Just 10 minutes a day can make a huge difference over time.
To keep yourself on track, it's helpful to use a checklist or a simple notebook. Write down the words you learn each day and tick them off when you practice speaking. This way, you can look back weekly and see how much you've improved. No need for a teacher or complicated tools. Your phone's voice recorder or a notebook is enough. The routine works perfectly for learners who want steady, real progress.
The best part is that this habit builds your vocabulary gradually but strongly. When you combine learning words with speaking them out loud every day, your confidence grows too. You start thinking in English more naturally and conversations become easier. So if you want to improve your vocabulary step by step, this 10-minute routine is a powerful tool. Try it tomorrow morning or tonight before bed.
Remember, vocabulary is not about knowing thousands of words. It's about using the right words at the right time. This routine helps you do just that by focusing on quality, not quantity. If you do this every day, even without a teacher, your English will improve fast and naturally. Just keep it simple, consistent, and active.
So that's the daily routine to help you speak English with more words and confidence. We hope you try it and make it part of your life. And hey, if you found today's episode useful, please share it with your friends who want to improve their English too. Don't forget to subscribe and help us grow. Your support means a lot. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for more tips on Speak Up. We'll see you in the next episode.